Good morning, and today I'm going to wire wrap a stone. Got these stones that I've had sitting around for a while, and silver wire is so expensive, and I have not sold the other things that I have wrapped in silver wire, so I just went ahead and bought some wire from Hobby Lobby that is, well, I'll show it in a minute. This one to me looks like it is Carnelian for sure. This one looks like a dyed agate. And when I bought them, I thought, yeah, that's probably Carnelian. And then I looked it up, and if there's any kind of banding at all, it's probably dyed agate. This one does not have any banding like the other ones, so I'm going to go with that this is an actual true Carnelian. This one looks like a banded agate of some kind. It was also in a pile that said moonstones, but it doesn't have the color, the flashings of the moonstone. So I'm going to go with some sort of agate. Agate. I don't really know how to say it. Please don't make fun of me. Anyways, let's see. I could do eeny, meeny, miny, mo, but I guess I want to wire wrap this one first. I've got some pretty basic tools for wire wrapping. I don't have anything super fancy. I've just got some like plastic tipped pliers. These don't really work very well if you're trying to wire wrap something on these ends here, because whenever you close it, it doesn't really crimp down on anything. So when you're trying to roll it to get the coils and the wire and to make it, you know, the little swirls, they don't work very good. Okay, and then I've just got some little needle nose and some crooked needle nose, and then just some basic wire, silver color, and it's copper filled is what it said, but this one is a 22 gauge. And then I have a thicker one, an 18 gauge. And then this one is a 24 gauge. This one is pretty thin. It's very flexible compared to silver, like the actual silver wire. Whenever I was trying to wrap the stones that I'd wrapped with the silver wire, it would just break. It was very hard to get it to be flexible. So I don't know, I really like this cheaper wire. I need to try more wires, I guess, but yeah, this is what I ended up choosing. So the thicker wire I use as like a base whenever you're making, like, basically you want to make not a cage, but you're trying to put something around the stone to hold it inside of the wire setting that you're creating. And then I like to use the 22 gauge to wrap around this to make, you know, like the coiled look, like there's coils around the wire. And then you can use the smaller wire to do that also, or I like to use this one to tie everything together to make it solid, because whenever you're doing the coil wrapping, you know, around the sides of the stone, it can be flexible and it can kind of come apart over time if you get it snagged on something, and it just ties it in a lot better. So before I cut any wire, I kind of like size it up to see how much I'm probably going to need. And what I like to do is, you got to hold on to it because it's going to uncoil real fast. I just kind of get out enough to where I'll be able to make a little top for it so that the cord can go through. And that looks about right, because I'll be folding this in half to go, you know, this way, like this, around the stone. And then I'll cut 2 more, because you want at least 3. I don't know that you would want to do more than 3 strands of wire. It gets kind of complicated the more you add to it, so let's just start off with 3. You could also do 2 if you wanted to, and then go from there, but I like to add the extra coils, so that seems like a 3 seems like a good deal, because you get 3 on each side after you bend it in half, which equals 6. Okay, now I've got my 3 wire strands, and that's in the thicker wire. That's the 18 gauge. 22 gauge. And I'm just going to guesstimate an amount. But you want it to be fairly long, because you're going to be wrapping it in coils. And you can always add more wire if you don't cut enough. It's not very hard to do. You just coil it around to add to whatever you're working on. Okay, I think that's good. sometimes if it's too long, it's kind of hard to work with, just like yarn. So, okay, there's that. So I really don't like this part. The part that I like is whenever it becomes a lot stiffer from the extra coil wrapping, and then it's more easier to work with. But for this part, you basically have to hold these pieces together while they try to twirl in your fingers, and you wrap them tightly together. Half it as much as I can. Hold these together flat like this. And so, okay, that looks like it's about even. So what I'm going to do is take this and kind of try to tighten it as much as I can without making the wires overlap each other. So right now what we've got is like this. I'm going to kind of try to push them together for a tight wrap there. Okay. Okay. So wrap this up like this. Wrap this one again. Again, I'm trying to wrap it as tight as possible, but without overlapping the wires because I want it to be kind of flat right here for the crystal to sit on top of. Okay, so I'm just going to bring that down a little bit. Bring it down a little bit more. Even these out. Okay, so we've got something like this. Now, my crystal. So I just brought it in there like this. Hopefully you can see it. And then I'm just going to continue wrapping it in there as tight as I can. Okay, so that already made it less wobbly. I'm going to go ahead and do this side because it's going to be hard to get the crystal in there without kind of securing this a little bit. I always have a hard time getting the crystal set in there and getting it wrapped around and to where it's not like bouncing around all over the place. You got to be careful because the metal marks very easily. Bring this in here like this because now I kind of gotta tie this one into here. So I'm going to wrap around that. And when you pull on it, it will move, you know, but you can just bend it back to where you need it. Okay, so what I did was I pulled it through here, pushed it under and wrapped it around. That way it won't wiggle around and it's kind of tied in together. And you just want to kind of, you know, push it down to where it's even there. And it did move, so you just got to kind of keep putting it back where you want it, okay? I'm going to wrap around this one more time, but I want it to come out the other side of this one. And hold on to it while you pull so that it doesn't, you know, warp it. And put it in here. Okay, so now this side is tied in with this. It's a lot stiffer. Now I'm going to tie in this other side here. Sorry, not trying to have my hand completely in the way. Okay. Now we have that tied in. I'm going to go back around it one more time. Now I'm going to loop back through here. Okay. Kind of pulled on it pretty good on the bottom. Hopefully I can bend it back. Once it gets kind of stiff down there with the other wires on it, it's kind of hard to get it to go back into place there. Alright, so now that I've got that done, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to coil up this and coil up this with these and tie it together right here so that all this is stiff on the front. And then whenever I work my way up there, we'll come back, I'll tie this in and kind of show what to do, how to finish the top. So this is what I've got so far. It looks like a big mess right now, but I did end up taking those apart to wrap the coils around. So what I like to do now is pick the 3 longest ones, which I guess would be these right here, and I braid them together. This right here, this part, is going to become the thing that comes like this to the back that you slip the cord through. The rest of these extras are about to become coils. Thinner wire, the 24 gauge, and I did end up having to add more 22 gauge wire to get all the coils done you just slip it in there and start wrapping it around. It's pretty simple. So, gotta hurry because I've got to get to work. So now with this thinner wire to kind of tie things together and hold this carnelian in there, or whatever it is. Okay, so I'm going to insert this here. Do the wrap around. Okay, so we've got that like that. Now I'm going to come through here. Cooperate! Okay. Ah! Okay, so now I'm just going to run this across the back so this thing will quit popping out. Okay. Guess I'm going to come around this one so that I can come back through there underneath it. Kind of go ahead and tie that one in together too, I guess. Okay. And then come back through here one more time. Ah, you can't let it get like that or it'll break on you. Come back through here. And that's going to look all weird because of what I just did, but we'll pretend like I did that on purpose, okay? That is not what I meant for that to do just now. How can I fix that? What just happened? Okay, we'll improvise. We'll come through like that, kind of tighten it up. Okay. I fixed it. I ended up just undoing it, pulling it back through and pulling it through under here to tighten it up a little more. So now it's not moving around on me and I can actually do some things with it, but my camera battery is about to die. Where I'm at, I can't necessarily plug it in because the cord isn't long enough, so I'm gonna have to come back to this after I get off work tonight. What are you doing? Sometimes it's almost like this wire has a mind of its own. There we go. It's not exactly the way I wanted it to look, but okay. So now that that's a little tighter on there, it'll be pretty easy to finish up. I'll go ahead and come around to the front. Tie it into the front too. Okay. Guess I'll go ahead and finish tying it in by putting it on the other side at the top because I already have it at the bottom. So this is what I've got. I'm going to bring this closer to the top and go ahead and wrap this. So for this one, I think what I'm going to do here is have this wire that's at the back here be the one that comes around this. Okay, now what I've got to do is I'm just going to go ahead and bend these under here. Okay, so that's bent. Now I'm going to continue bending this down. Then I have to connect it. I'm just going to connect it right here. I definitely need some new pliers. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. So you can just hook this around the back like that, and then the cord can go through here. It's pretty sturdy, it's not going to break. Okay, and then we're going to make one over here. And I'm just going to push it down. Okay, and then the next thing that I'm going to do to kind of help keep the coils in place is just take this smaller 24 gauge wire and kind of run it through just right here to secure the top. This is what it looks like finished. So here we have the cut cord, and that makes it about chest length. Put the cord in there. Clamp it down. Now I'm going to open up the jump ring. No, I didn't open up the jump ring enough. It's really hard to tell what I'm doing on camera because I'm looking at it through the viewfinder and for some reason it's going blurry. That wasn't enough either. What is going on? There we go. Okay. Put it on there. Put it on your claw clasp or what other kind of clasp you like to use. Close the jump ring. Push it together right here, but not too hard. Okay. Now we put a jump ring on this end. And for you jewelry pros that are watching this, I'm sure you know what you're doing, and this is just, you know, for this beginner video. Jump ring on the other end. Close it up. Push it together just a little bit. Okay. And there we go. We have a beautiful necklace. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Also, if you would like to own this, on a more serious note, this will be posted in my eBay store for sale. And thank you for watching.